What would you recommend for people who want to get started carving?
Don't do it. Get a job, get benefits, don't hurt yourselves. You're not very good anyway.
You don't want the competition.
Yeah. No, I say you do it. You grab a saw and do it and figure it out. That's how I did it. I saw somebody doing it and I went, I'm going to do that. I went and bought a saw and taught myself how to do it. It never really gets better. It's always a struggle, but it's a fun struggle. So, yeah. I'd rather struggle with this than struggle at a job I hate.
You have to have imagination and gasoline and some determination to not give up.
Well, make sure it's a passion and not a job. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Always feel that thirst for knowledge, whether it be with equipment, tools, wood.
For someone wanting to carve, I guess the thing where you start is to have some kind of imagination, because without that, you're kind of null and void.
In the world of chainsaw carving, for the most part, everything's self-taught. So somebody needs to do this first. You gotta literally pick up a chainsaw, get a piece of wood, and then try to make something. I like a small, powerful chainsaw. The bar on this chainsaw is the part that the chain rides on. And this particular bar is called a dime tip. They help you get a lot of extra detail. Protecting your ears, protecting your legs, and then really the last critical thing is protecting your eyes as well, so a pair of safety glasses.
The biggest thing about beginning carving for me was patience. Like, especially being around Dad and all these other good carvers, you see the quality of the work that they do.
The bad news, according to RL, is that my chain, even when it was new, was the wrong chain to buy. And my chain is shot, so he predicted that I would have a hard time today. But I'm used to having a hard time because I've been working with that chain. So the good news is this wood is surprisingly soft. It's yellow pine, and it's the first time I've worked with it. And if it stays like this, then I think that I won't be as wrecked at the end of the day as I thought I would be.
When I first got to the event, I wasn't exactly sure of the composition of the piece, but I did have a lot of image research that I had done using Pinterest.
Those are the first ones. It's actually pretty soft. The wood is not too bad.
I knew that I wanted to have a mother and a baby on a log in some fashion.
All right, but I need to change her face, do the same thing here, but make her face like...
Whatever you want to do.
What if it was coming down and like licking her? Like they're kissing, but she's scratching her back. I can do anything.
It's your
Do whatever you want.
Hey, I am listening to you. Just you thought I wasn't, but I am. Look at it.
Yeah, I see that. I'm proud.
I prefer to do things that are fairly original or something that are definitely more me, because then that's the standard that's created. It's something that I would make. It is really nerve-wracking to go and do a bear carving in front of a bunch of great bear carvers, especially my first one, knowing that I'm probably not going to do the best job ever. Anytime I do wildlife, I definitely feel like I'm out of my comfort zone. It requires more realism than the stuff I tend to carve, and more of a knowledge of nature and anatomy than I usually need to worry about. I find that I can't get too skittish when it comes to this stuff because, first of all, I'm using power tools and chainsaws, so I kind of have to be brave anyway.
Bears they're surprisingly human, you know, in their shape and form and everything. And with black bears, what you want to think of is that shape that's underneath all that fur, that football-shaped head. So with this has got to come down a little bit.
The jowls.
Well, everything does a little bit. And what I normally do is once I have it blocked out like this, I'm going to start back at my head and get it dialed in pretty tight because I know what the proportions are going to be. Yeah. So I would really start with your nose, thin that nose out a lot. The noses aren't that wide at the end, okay. And then shape this under here. So you have that big flat plane, and a lot could come off of here, and the more narrow and kind of football shaped it is, it's going to get that feminine look that you're trying to get from it.
There was a lot more nuance in the body, the shapes, and the more subtleties than I realized.
You probably won't ever have to do a lot, with your direction, but those of us who live in the areas where people always want bears, they become your self-portraits. Start looking at bears, and you'll see, Denny Beach's, Barry Pinsky's, big head.
Yeah, I should, if it sells, I should get a photo with Millie next to it with me.
Yeah.
Have her crawling on the back and I'll hang over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm kind of curious to see what sort of bear I would be.
I decided I probably wasn't going to get it done in the amount of time I needed to for the auction. And it's such a rare thing for me to have this size of wood and a uniform color that I really want to take it home back to my studio and twiddle with it and spend some time on it, make it pretty.
So, should I be here?
I brought the carving home back to Texas and I worked on it in my shop and was able to put some love and attention into it and really work at the fur textures and that sort of thing. I like the way that the bear carving turned out. I think it's a real sweet little scene. I'd be interested in doing another bear carving. I found it more challenging than I thought I would. I want to experiment a little bit with bears some more, for sure. I don't really feel like I'm done with it yet.